Alright guys, it is Friday, June 25th, 2021 at 5:54 p.m. Alright, so the UFO report that was supposed to be released this month has just been released. Let's take a look at what the 9 pages of release report say. I believe that not all 9 pages are part of the report. I believe some of it isn't the report, is just appendix. It says here, unclassified, Office of the Director of National Intelligence, preliminary assessment, unidentified aerial phenomena, the 25th of June, 2021. Unclassified. Let's take a look. It says scope and assumptions. This preliminary report is provided by the Office of the Director of National Intelligence in response to the provision in Senate Report 116-233 accompanying the Intelligence Authorization Act for fiscal year 2021. The DNI, in consultation with the Secretary of Defense, is to submit an intelligence assessment of the threat posed by unidentified aerial phenomena and the progress the Department of Defense Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force has made in understanding this threat. So straight off, they're considering UAPs or UFOs a threat. That's right there, a threat. Alright, it says this report provides an overview for policymakers of the challenges associated with characterizing the potential threat posed by UAP, while also providing a means to develop relevant processes, policies, technologies, so they're trying to develop technologies from this, and training for the U.S. military and other U.S. government personnel if and when they encounter UAP. So as to enhance the intelligence community's ability to understand the threat, the director is the accountable official for ensuring the timely collection and consolidation of data on UAP. The data set described in this report is currently limited primarily to the U.S. government reporting of incidents occurring from November 2004 to March 2021. Data continues to be collected and analyzed. ODNI prepares this report for the Congressional Intelligence and Armed Services Committees. National Intelligence Manager for Aviation drafted this paper with input from the USD, DIA, FBI, NRO, NGA, NSA, Air Force, Army, Navy, ONI, DARPA, FAA, NOAA, NGA, ODNI, NIM, Engineering and Disruptive Technology, ODI National Counterintelligence and Security Center, and ODI-NI National Intelligence Council. Assumptions. Various forms of sensors that register UAP generally operate correctly and capture enough real data to allow initial assessments, but some UAP may be attributed to sensor anomalies. So some are generally operate correctly and capture enough real data to allow initial assessments, but some may be attributed to sensor anomalies. That's interesting. It says next, executive summary. The limited amount of high-quality reporting on unidentified aerial phenomena hampers our ability to draw firm conclusions about the nature or intent of UAP. The Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force considered a range of information on UAP described in U.S. military and intelligence community reporting, but because the reporting lacks sufficient specificity, untimely, ultimately recognized that a unique, tailored reporting process was required to provide sufficient data for analysis of UAP events. As a result, the UAPTF concentrated its review on reports that occurred between 2004 and 2021, the majority of which are a result of this new tailored process to better capture UAP events throughout formalized reporting. Most of the UAP reported probably do represent physical objects, given that a majority of UAP were registered across multiple sensors, including radar, infrared, electro-optical, weapon seekers, and visual observation. In a limited number of incidents, UAP reportedly appeared to exhibit unusual flight characteristics. These observations could be the result of sensor errors, spoofing, or observer misperception and require additional rigorous analysis. There are probably multiple types of UAP requiring different explanations based on the range of appearances and behaviors described in available reporting. Our analysis of the data supports the construct that if and when individual UAP incidents are resolved, they will fall into one of five potential explanatory categories: airborne, clutter, natural atmospheric phenomenon, USG or U.S. industry development programs, foreign adversary systems, and a catch-all other, in quotes, other bin. UAP clearly pose a safety of flight issues and may pose a challenge to U.S. national security. Safety concerns primarily center on aviators contending with an increasingly cluttered air domain. UAP would also represent a national security challenge if they are foreign adversary collection platforms or provide evidence of potentially adversary has developed either a breakthrough or disruptive technology. Consistent consolidation of reports from across the federal government, standardized reporting, increased collection and analysis, and streamlined process for screening all such reports against a broad range of relevant USG data will allow for a more sophisticated analysis of UAP that is likely to deepen our understanding. Some of these steps and resources are intensive and will require additional investment. So they're looking for possibly more funding to try to look at more resources. Some of these steps that require additional investment. So they're trying to collect more data to see what more understanding, to deepen their understanding, it says there. So that's quite interesting. It says available reporting largely inconclusive. It says limited data leaves most UAP unexplained. Limited data and inconsistency in reporting are key challenges to evaluating UAP. No standardized reporting mechanism existed until the Navy established one in 2019. The Air Force subsequently adopted that mechanism in November 2020, but it remains limited to USG reporting. The UAPTF regularly heard anecdotally during its research about other observations that occurred by which were never captured in formal or informal reporting by those observers. After carefully considering this information, the UAPTF focused on reports that involved UAP largely witnessed firsthand by military aviators and that were collected from systems we consider to be reliable. These reports describe incidents that occurred between 2004 and 2021, with the majority coming from the last 2 years. As the new reporting mechanisms became better known to the military aviation community, we were able to identify one reported UAP with high confidence. In that case, we identified the object as a large deflating balloon. The others remained unexplained. 144 reports originated from USG sources. Of these, 80 reports involve observation with multiple sensors. Most reports describe UAP as objects that interrupted pre-planned training or other military activity. UAP collection challenges. Social, cultural stigmas and censor limitations remain obstacles to collect data on UAP, although some technical challenges such as how appropriately filter our radar clutter to ensure safety of flight for military and civilian aircraft are long-standing in the aviation community, while others are unique to the UAP problem set. Narratives from aviators in the operational community and analysis from the military and IC describe disparagement associated with observing UAP, reporting it, and attempting to discuss it with colleagues. Although the effects of these stigmas have lessened, senior members of the scientific, policy, military, and intelligence communities engage in the topic seriously in public, reputational risk may keep many observers silent, complicating scientific pursuit of the topic. The sensors mounted on the U.S. military platforms are typically designed to fulfill specific missions. As a result, those sensors are not generally suited for identifying UAP. Sensors, vantage points, and the numbers of sensors concurrently observing an object play substantial roles in distinguishing UAP from known objects and determining whether UAP demonstrates breakthrough aerospace capabilities. Optical sensors have the benefit of providing some insight into relative size, shape, and structure. Radio frequency sensors provide more accurate velocity and range information, but some potential patterns do emerge. Although there was a wide variability in reports, and the data set is currently too limited to allow for detailed trend or pattern analysis, there was some clustering of UAP observations regarding shape, size, and particularly propulsion. UAP sightings also tended to cluster around U.S. training and testing grounds, but we assess that this may result from a collection bias as a result of focused attention. Greater numbers of latest generational sensors operating in those areas, unit expectations, and guidance to report anomalies, and a handful of UAP appear to demonstrate advanced technology. In 18 incidents described in 21 reports, observers reported unusual UAP movement patterns or flight characteristics. Some UAP appear to remain stationary in winds aloft, move against the wind, maneuver abruptly, or move at considerable speed without discernible means of propulsion. In a small number of cases, military aircraft systems process radio frequency energy associated with UAP sightings. The UAPTF holds a small amount of data that appear to show UAP demonstrating acceleration or a degree of signature management. Additional rigorous analysis are necessary by multiple teams or groups of technical experts to determine the nature and validity of these data. We are conducting further analysis to determine if breakthrough technologies were demonstrated. So right there, we are conducting further analysis. They're going to research more into these UAPs. It says UAP probably lack single explanation. The UAP documented in this limited dataset demonstrate an array of aerial behaviors, reinforcing the possibility there are multiple types of UAP requiring different explanations. Our analysis of the data supports the construct that if and when individual UAP incidents are resolved, they will fall into one of the 5 potential explanatory categories: airborne clutter, natural atmospheric phenomena, USG or industry developmental programs, foreign adversary systems, or the catch-all other in quotes bin, with the exception of one instance where we determined with high confidence that the reported UAP was airborne clutter, specifically a deflating balloon. We currently lack sufficient information in our dataset to attribute incidents to specific explanations. Airborne clutter. These objects include birds, balloons, recreational unmanned aerial vehicles, or airborne debris like plastic bags that envelop the scene and affect an operator's ability to identify true targets, such as enemy aircraft. Natural atmospheric phenomena. Natural atmospheric phenomena include ice crystals, moisture, and thermal fluctuations that may register on some infrared and radar systems. USG or industry developmental programs. Some UAP observations could be attributable to developments and classified programs by U.S. entities. We were unable to confirm, however, that these systems accounted for any of the UAP reports we collected. Foreign adversary system. Some UAP may be technologies developed by China, Russia, another nation, or a non-governmental entity. And finally, other. Although most of the UAP described in our dataset probably remain unidentified due to the limited data or challenges to collection processing or analysis, we may require additional scientific knowledge to successfully collect on, analyze, and characterize some of them. We would group such objects in this category pending scientific advances that allowed us to better understand them. The UAPTF intends to focus additional analysis on the small numbers of cases when UAP appear to display unusual flight characteristics or signature management. UAP threatened flight safety and possibly national security. UAP pose a hazard to safety of flight and can pose a broader danger if some instances represent sophisticated collection against U.S. military activities by a foreign government or demonstrate a breakthrough aerospace technology by a potential adversary. So they're considering possible potential adversary. It says ongoing airspace concerns. When aviators encounter safety hazards, they are required to report these concerns. Depending on the location, volume, and behavior of hazards during incursions on ranges, pilots may cease their test and/or training and land their aircraft, which has a deterrent effect on reporting. The UAPTF has 11 reports of documented instances in which pilots reported near misses with a UAP. Potential national security challenges. We currently lack data to indicate any UAP are part of a foreign collection program or indicative of a major technological advancement, a potential adversary. We continue to monitor for evidence of such programs given the counterintelligence challenge they would pose, particularly as some UAP have been detected near military facilities or by aircraft carrying the USG most advanced sensor systems. Explaining UAP will require analytic collection and resource investment. Standardize the reporting, consolidate the data, and deepen the analysis. In line with the provisions of Senate Report 116233 accompanying the IAA for FY 2021, the UAPTF's long term goal is to widen the scope of its work to include additional UAP events documented by a broader swath of USG personnel and technical systems in its analysis. As the data set increases, the UAPTF's ability to deploy data analytics to detect trends will also improve. The initial focus would be to employ artificial intelligence machine learning algorithms to cluster and recognize similarities and patterns and features of the data points. As the database accumulates information from known aerial objects such as weather balloons, high altitude or super pressure balloons, and wildlife, machine learning can add efficiency by pre-assessing UAP reports and see if those records match similar events already in the database. The UAPTF has begun to develop integrated agency analytical and processing workflows to ensure both collection and analysis will be well informed and coordinated. The majority of UAP data is from the U.S. Navy reporting, but efforts are underway to standardize incident reports across the U.S. military services and other government agencies to ensure all relevant data is captured with respect to particular incidents and any U.S. activities that might be relevant. The UAPTF is currently working to acquire additional reporting, including from the U.S. Air Force, and has begun receiving data from the Federal Aviation Administration. Although the U.S. Air Force data collection has been limited historically, the U.S. Air Force began a 6-month pilot program in November of 2020 to collect in most likely areas to encounter UAP and is evaluating how to normalize future collection, reporting, and analysis across the entire Air Force. The FAA captures data related to UAP during the normal course of managing air traffic operations. The FAA generally ingests this data when pilots and other airspace user reports unusual or unexpected events to the FAA Air Traffic Organization. In addition, the FAA continuously monitors its systems for anomalies, generating additional information that may be used for the UAPTF. The FAA is able to isolate data of interest to the UAPTF and make it available. The FAA has robust and effective outreach program that can help the UAPTF reach members of the aviation community to highlight the importance of reporting on UAPs. So they're going to try to increase the monitoring of these UAPs. As such, expand the collection. The UAPTF is looking for novel ways to increase the collection of UAP cluster areas where U.S. forces are not present as a way to baseline standard UAP activity and mitigate the collection bias on the dataset. One proposal is to use advanced algorithms to search historical data captured and stored by radars. The UAPTF also plans to update its current interagency UAP collection strategy in order to bring to bear relevant collection platforms and methods from the DoD and the IC. Increase investment in research and development. The UAPTF has indicated the additional funding for research and development could further the future study of topics laid out on this report. Such investments should be guided by the UAP collection strategy, UAP R&D technical roadmap, and UAP program plan. And that's the end of it. Then they have two appendixes, Appendix A and Appendix B, defining UAP or unidentified aerial phenomena, airborne objects not immediately identifiable. The acronym UAP represents the broadest category of airborne objects reviewed for analysis. UAP event, a holistic description of an occurrence during which a pilot or aircrew witnessed or detected a UAP. UAP incident, a specific part of the event. And UAP report, documentation of UAP event to include verified chains of custody and basic information such as the time, date, location, description of the UAP. UAP reports include range fowler reports and other reporting. And then the final appendix, Senate report accompanying the Intelligence Authorization Act of the fiscal year 2021. So this is basically them summarizing the report. It says Senate Report 116233, accompanying the Intelligence Authorization Act of the fiscal year 2021, provides that the DNI and consultation of the SEC, Sec Defense, and other relevant heads of the USG agencies is to submit an intelligence assessment of the threat posed by the UAP and the progress the UAPTF has made to understand this threat. The Senate report specifically requested that the report include a detailed analysis of UAP data and intelligence reporting collected held by the Office of Naval Intelligence, including data and intelligence reporting held by the UAPTF, detailed analysis of unidentified phenomena, data collected by geospatial intelligence, signals intelligence, human intelligence, and measurements and signature intelligence. A detailed analysis of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, which was derived from investigations and intrusions of UAP data over restricted U.S. airspace, a detailed description of interagency processes for ensuring timely data collection, centralized analysis of UAP reporting for the federal government regardless of which service or agency acquired the information, identification of an official accountable for the process described in paragraph 4, identification of potential aerospace or other threats posed by the UAP to national security, and the assessment of whether the UAP activity may be attributed to one or more foreign adversaries, identification of any incidents or patterns that indicate potential adversary have achieved breakthrough aerospace capabilities that could put U.S. strategic or conventional forces at risk, and recommendations regarding increased collection of data, enhanced research and development, additional funding, and other resources. So that's pretty much the last page of the report. They pretty much said they want to keep researching into. They still want to collect more data. They want to collect more data on these UAP. So who knows what more information they could get if they do build a team to start collecting data across. But the question is, will they report this to the public or will they keep it classified? So this is the report or the preliminary assessment of unidentified aerial phenomena that was requested in the last bill. So I'm going to leave a link to this report so you guys can check it out for yourselves and print it if you want to, or save it. That's it for this video. Hit like and subscribe for more news, and see you guys next time. God bless you guys.